Hey, Riding Side Saddle, it's Tammy.
And it's Lisa.
We're back. It's just the two of us this week.
Here we are.
We are. Last week's episode was a big one.
It was so big. I can't get it out of my mind. It was so big. We actually had a really, really great conversation. We had Mary and Jessica in the recording studio. And we were talking a lot about doing big things, doing hard things in life, and, you know, just some of the... we talked about it from a lot of different perspectives.
We did.
We talked about it from the perspective of challenging yourself and working really hard to obtain a goal.
Right. Those are the hard things we can do.
Yep.
Right?
We can do hard things.
Mm-hmm. We talked about it also. Is it hard or is it uncomfortable? Mm-hmm. Oh, no, inconvenient. That's what Jessica said. Is it hard or is it inconvenient?
Right.
Right. Sometimes we think, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it.
Right.
When it's really inconvenient.
Right. Like, I can do that. I just have to put some effort into it.
Right. Right. Getting up to go to the gym when it's nice and cozy in my bed, that's inconvenient. But I haven't slept more than a couple hours in the last 2 nights. I cannot get up and go to the gym.
Right.
That's hard.
That's the difference.
Right.
Right.
And we boiled it down to it's the feeling that comes with it, right? So when you think, is that too hard or is it inconvenient? It's the feeling that comes with it. It's too cold, right? It's too cold. That doesn't feel like, it just feels like I really don't want to do it because I'm comfortable.
Right.
It's inconvenient. It's going to disrupt what I'm currently doing, which is being snuggled up in bed.
Right.
But it's too hard.
Right.
What comes with that feeling? Like, I literally cannot do it.
Right. So one of the examples that was brought up, I don't remember the specifics, but it really had a lot to do with, is it too hard because it's actually damaging to me? I think your example, it was you that had provided the example of going to a family gathering because there was some anxiety around that.
Right.
And it wasn't is this inconvenient? Because it wasn't an inconvenience thing. You did want to go.
Right.
But there were some challenges that you were going to face by going.
Right.
That left you in a situation where...
This is really hard.
Yeah, you were feeling very uncomfortable. There were some negative components that were going to come from it. You were fully anxious. And you had to, decide... Is it worth going to this gathering because I should? And what kind of impact is it going to have on me to go?
Right.
Right? A negative impact.
Right. And also, what kind of impact will it have on me if I don't go? That was my point. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that I could manage the backlash if I didn't go. Mm-hmm. So it felt like a should, but it also felt like self-preservation.
Interesting. Even though you were feeling very vulnerable with it on the flip side.
For sure.
Got it.
I have another family party coming up sometime this summer, and I'm already working up to it. And not all the same players will be there, but because I saw what happened at the last party, I'm anticipating there being some backlash that I'm going to have to manage. I don't even know that that's what's going to happen, but it already feels like a hard thing.
Yeah.
And I have gone back and forth. Don't go. I want to go. Well, don't go. Well, but then I should go. I mean, I want to go, but back and forth.
Yeah.
Doing hard things is not always, it's not always a black and white decision.
There isn't one definition of hard.
Nope.
It's a spectrum
for sure.
What hard is.
Yep.
And some of it, you aspire to because it's a challenge to yourself.
Yeah.
Or it will make you better for having gone through the challenge. And other examples are this, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. Is it self what is the word, deprecating? Like, is it beneficial for me? in the long run, what am I going to get out of this?
Or am I hurting myself?
Right.
Right.
And I'm only doing it because I feel like I
I have to.
Right. For whatever
Yeah,
reason.
right. And they might be valid reasons. But it might still be really hard.
And somewhere,
and not have a good feeling attached to it.
and stuff somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. I'm in a hard place in life.
Yeah.
I'm just dealing with a lot of difficult things, and I have to do things in order to get myself through it. Like it's a whole spectrum of different things that what constitutes hard and what justifies whether or not you're going to move forward.
Right. I know there have been times, even making a phone call is hard. Right? When in our last episode we talked about getting out of bed is hard. Sometimes just making a phone call is hard. To somebody who is not in a place like that, they'll think, what's the big deal? It's a phone call. Sometimes I have to talk myself into making that call because it just feels too much today.
It's interesting that you use that example because I live that with Elizabeth. Social anxiety is a really significant part of some of the struggles that she faces and things that, as a young person, like, sure, I would have been nervous to make a phone call or set up an appointment or call and ask a question when I was that age is too hard for her because of the mental health challenges that she faces. So when you say, somebody would be like, well, what's the big deal? You just make a phone call.
Yeah.
Like that can be and is very hard for some people. And you just don't even realize what struggle that
for sure
can create.
For sure. For myself, it is a lot of times with my job, I have to call people, right? And boy, sometimes on my list of things to do, calling that person, it'll be on my list for a long time because it's not even that I don't want to talk to that person. It's not the person. It's all of the things I have to do before I can talk to that person. So in order to have this call, I have to know this, and this, and this. And in order to do that, I have to dig in all of these different places. I have to get all of my information straight. I have to refresh my memory about what the call is about, what the case is about, all of these things to anticipate all the questions that this person may have for me. And it just, that's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's not even that the phone call itself is overwhelming. It's all of things I have to do to get to a place where I can make the call.
I can understand that. That
feels really hard.
It sounds overwhelming just listening to you talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to someone else, it might be like, so what's the big deal? You just refresh your memory and you make the call.
Right.
Then you can check it off. Easy peasy.
Right.
And it does feel like that when I've done it. Why did that have to take me so long?
It's the anticipation of it.
For sure.
Oftentimes, too. And in fact, that's something that Liz says very recently. Like, it's me anticipating what's going to happen in the situation, and I get anxiety about what the story is that I'm telling myself, versus when I look back at it, I can say that wasn't that big of a deal.
Right.
Like, I did it. It really wasn't as big as what I said it, set it up.
In my mind, it was a big deal. But after I did it, turns out it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm sure that there is some mental health components there for myself, too. But I noticed something really interesting, and Mary hit on it in our last episode. She was talking about the reward that comes after working really hard or doing something really hard. If the reward isn't there, though, where does that leave you? Depressed, empty, hopeless, stuck. So my husband and I have been having conversations about doing some traveling. I love to travel. He hates it. It brings him a lot of anxiety when he thinks about going somewhere. To the point that even if we are, like at our cottage, for instance, if we're coming home on Sunday, he wants to get up, get dressed, and leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but we have the whole day.
Right.
Why do we have to leave? Why do we
Right.
have to be home before noon even? Like, I don't understand. Why can't we enjoy the morning?
Right. We're
and be
here.
Yes,
We're here still.
Yes, we have a whole day we can enjoy. No, we got to go. We have to go. We have to go.
We just made a weekend into a day and
A day and a half.
Right.
If we're lucky.
Right.
It's a day and a little.
Right.
Yeah. It's for him, it's the anxiety. The traveling part is where the anxiety comes from for him. I just got to get it over with. I know I have to travel today. I have to get it over with. So when I say to him, we need to go on vacation. I need a vacation. We need to go somewhere. I want to go somewhere, overseas. I want it to be a big vacation. He immediately says no, because the travel part, it's too much for him. So we've been having conversations about this for some time until I completely lost it. It feels to me like it's never my turn.
Yeah.
I don't have the reward.
You're working really hard.
Yep.
You're shoveling it every day.
Exactly.
Right. You're in the grind.
I'm grinding and I don't get the reward. We're spending money on things that are important to him. And he makes it sound like it's important to us.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had my choice, just my choice by myself, I wouldn't be spending money in the way that we've been spending money.
Right.
In some instances, not in all instances, but as an example, right? Like, we didn't have to put a porch on our cottage. Does it look nice? Sure. Will I enjoy it? Yeah.
Right.
But I would rather have gone on vacation.
Right.
But to him, it was more important to do that. So we did that, and it's packaged in a way that it feels like it's for us.
Right.
And it is for us.
Justified.
Correct.
Right. But
it's not feeding me in the way that it's not the reward that I need.
If you were left to make a decision between that and traveling, you would have prioritized
I would have gone on vacation.
Differently.
For sure. Yep. So it's finally, he's finally agreed that we can go on vacation. And so we've made plans to do that, and that'll be really great. As soon as he said, okay, I could see how painful it was for him to just say, I have to do this because my wife needs it.
Right.
It is so, it's not because he's not trying to control me and not let me have what I need. It costs him a lot.
Right. The sacrifice to meet
Yes.
your needs for him is very high.
Mm-hmm. And I could see it. But I sacrifice too, right?
Right.
That's the way it works.
It comes and goes.
It sure does.
Right.
So when he said, "Okay, we'll do it. We'll go on vacation. Just book it. Let's just do it." I felt like it wasn't even a weight had been lifted. It wasn't like a cloud had been lifted. It wasn't any of those things. It was more like, it was the reward. I get the reward now. I've been working so hard all this time. Now I get the reward.
Well, your needs were met.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But when you are grinding and you can't meet your own needs, or someone else isn't meeting your own needs, that's when, for me, everyday things just get to be too hard. Getting out of bed is too hard. Making that phone call is too hard. Making real meals, it's just too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that the going on vacation, well, of course, I get it. You go on vacation, you need a little break. It's good for your mental and physical well-being. I know all of those things. But I think it means more to me than that. I think it's the reward. I've been missing the reward.
Yeah.
Josh sees our cottage as the reward.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I don't see it that way. Do I enjoy being there? Sure I do. But that is not a reward to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's an investment. It's not a reward.
Mm-hmm.
A reward is just that.
It fills something for him
Yes.
differently than it fills for you.
Yes.
And vice versa for travel. Like once he gets there, he's going to really enjoy it.
For sure. And he knows that.
Right.
It's the getting there.
Right,
He has
right.
said, if I could just close my eyes and wake up and I'm there, we could go on vacation all the time. It truly is the traveling part for him that causes him great angst.
Yeah.
I said to him once, I think you burned alive in a fiery crash in a previous life. Honestly, the way you feel about traveling is so out there. Like something terrible must have happened to you once upon a time.
Yeah. I can relate. I'm not the same because I'm not a huge like traveler and things like that, but I can understand it from a conceptual perspective where, I mean, both you and I had the situation where we were single mothers, right? And in that environment, money only goes so far.
Oh, yeah.
And usually, like most of that time for years, like you stretch every dollar
Yep.
till it's going to break.
It has to squeak before it leaves your fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to know that, all right, I got through this month. I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to do the same thing again. And at the end of next month, I will have squeaked by, maybe barely. And I'm not going to have anything to show. I just have to keep rolling
Just
over.
put your head down and get to work.
Right.
Don't think about it.
Right. July's going to come and I'm going to do the same thing. And August is going to come and I'm going to do the same thing. There's no end in sight.
Right.
Maybe there's an end in sight next March when I get my tax return,
Maybe.
right?
Maybe.
Maybe I can pay off some debt that I had accrued throughout this
Because I'm
period
not
of
even
time.
really making ends meet.
Right.
Yeah. Living
Like-
on credit is not making ends meet.
No, it's not. But like I get and I recognize that constant churn without any level of
Right.
like reprieve.
Right.
Whether it's a trip or it's,
a
don't
treat
know.
at the grocery store even
Right.
could feel good, I suppose.
Right. So I get that.
Yeah.
And to be like, I'm struggling and I'm continuing to like keep going and I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So even though I see money in my bank account and I see us spending money and we can afford to spend it, I'm still not getting the reward. I'm still just with my head down because I'm not doing the things that I want to do. And I think some of this goes back to things that we have talked about gobs of times on this podcast. Doing things that fill you up.
Right.
And I don't. Rarely. If I'm gardening, it's because it's an emergency.
Right. Because the
flowers have been sitting there. I made time to buy the flowers, but they've been sitting. I've got
You have
driveway
driveway
flowers again. Yeah.
the thistles have come back
the
with a
thistles.
vengeance.
Oh, good Lord. Yes. Yeah.
So I
it's
have
that.
to. It's not because I'm enjoying it.
Right.
I'm choosing.
And I only have this tiny small window of time.
Right.
Because
so it's a chore.
Yes, I have to squeeze it in. It is not, that doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like I have to.
Right. Right.
So even though I love to garden, I'm doing it under pressure.
Right.
That doesn't feel good.
Right. It's a responsibility and a chore at
Yes.
this point in the
Yes.
game. It's not something that's filling me up.
Right. 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 I don't make time for pottery. I don't make time to paint. I barely make time to knit. I'm not doing anything that fills me up. So I don't have any rewards in my life. And I recognize fully that some of that is all about me.
I was in my mind trying
Yeah.
to kindly
That is
say
about me.
that-
I am not giving myself the space to do it.
and we have to go back to one of the comments that we made in the last episode also is that's your behavior.
Yep.
Okay. And it's yours.
Yep.
You own that behavior. Now, what is your belief?
Right.
Go back a step because beliefs drive behavior.
My belief is I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted. I'm too overwhelmed. I'm too worn out. I don't have the capacity to do those things.
Because
I'm worn out.
Because
I'm doing all the things, but none of the things that fill me up. I'm doing all the things I have to do, all the things I should do.
there's the word.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, when my husband goes to bed at 7:30 because he gets up before 4, it's daylight still. I could go outside and garden when it's nice and it's just time for me. I could throw some pots on the wheel. I could do some painting. I could read a book. I could do things, but I'm already snuggled up on the couch because we watch TV after dinner. And
you're tired.
And I'm tired. And now I'm comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'll just stay here till I'm ready for bed.
Mm-hmm.
So I never get filled. I never get a reward. I'm just marking time till the next day comes and it's filled with shoulds until it feels like an absolute grind and it's hard to even get out of bed.
So some of those things, I get the travel bit, right? And I understand that. And that is a really big part of who you are.
Yeah.
And it is a really, really wonderful reward to be able to give yourself. And I know you worked hard.
It's something to look forward to.
For months.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that you worked hard to get there.
Sure.
Because I know you and I know Josh.
Yep.
And that is a really great way to fill you up in anticipation for when it's coming later this year. And separately, what are you going to do to shift those things for yourself in the meantime? Because that's not going to sustain you.
So even if it does sustain me, we'll be coming back from our vacation.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like sustain
So
you.
it might be fine until we leave, but then when we come back and it's just
right.
Wah, wah.
Right.
Now what?
Right. So there's some behavioral things that you have to shift. That you have to shift.
Right.
Right. So you know that by 7:30 in the evening, whether or not you're physically spent or you're mentally spent, which is probably the case, right? Because you just spent all of your day getting all of the things done that you have to do. By 7:30 at night, your brain is like, no,
we can't do anymore.
I'm done.
Yeah. It's mindless scrolling on Facebook or, whatever.
Right.
Watching TV that means nothing. Yeah.
But those smaller incremental pieces of finding joy and allowing yourself the gifts, right, on a daily basis, that is going to require some shifts from you.
It's going to,
because
some real effort.
Because you don't need to ask permission for those things.
I don't. So I'm going to go back to Jessica saying, is it hard or is it inconvenient? And really, if I'm being completely honest, a lot of it is just inconvenient.
And it is... Shit. This happens way too often to me.
Sorry.
It's okay. It is inconvenient. It's habitual.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It isn't that it's like yes, it's inconvenient, but it's inconvenient because I'm in this groove.
Yep.
I'm in the habit. This is what I do. It takes a lot of shifting of gears to get out of this groove, this habit. You've been doing this habit for how long?
Well, a long time. And humans are creatures of habit, aren't we?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
our brains love it when we do the same thing over and over. It's a pattern and we know what to expect.
And then it's self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
Right? That's
a good point.
Even if it is not filling you and you know that it's not filling you, it's not meeting your needs, it is normal. Mm-hmm. And normal doesn't equal good.
Not always. It's a good point.
If you know that it's not meeting your needs, but it's what
then
you
why
normally
am I
do,
doing it?
Yes.
So then there's a belief underneath that, isn't there? So now self-worth comes into play.
Yeah.
I would feel better if I turned the TV off and I did X. I'll just leave the TV on.
Right. Right.
But I would feel better if I turned it off, knowing full well that if I leave it on, I'm never going to get off the couch and go do something else. That would feel good.
Yeah. There was, gosh, I can't even remember. I think it was actually at an old job. The company that I worked with before I worked where I do now. And we were learning about habits. And kind of how to shift that, right? Because those things are habits. After dinner, we watch TV. Josh goes to bed. I sit on the couch and I, entertain myself with mindless types of things until I'm ready for bed because I'm too tired to blah, blah, blah. There was a concept about building habits to say, what is the one thing that I can do so that I am more apt to do what I'm trying to accomplish? So you're talking about, like, if I turn off the television, I will be more apt to go paint, go for a walk, go play in my garden, go, throw some pots. And you're saying that if I do that one thing, I am more likely to follow, the path that I'm trying to take. They were talking about, the examples that they were giving is running a marathon. Well, in order to run a marathon, you have to train.
First, you have to run a mile.
Right, but I have a hard time training because it's not habitual. I don't want to go, in my everyday life and run and train to be prepared for this marathon. But what is the one thing that I can do that will make me more apt to go train? And in the example, it was have my shoes right in the kitchen by my coffee, by my coffee pot, so that it's right there. I see it, and that's my key indicator that, after I start the coffee pot, I'm going to go for a run. And it's almost just little physical things. You talked about physically turning off the TV. All right. So now that the TV's off and I know that I'm not going to watch TV, well, I'm going to go find myself something else to do because I'm not just going to sit here.
But right? I might sit there on my phone.
Well, but then it has to be something else.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So the turning off the TV, I do that loads of times because I don't always watch TV after Josh goes to bed.
Right.
But having that device in my hand, again, it's comfortable, it's easy. I'm just right here. Next thing I know, it's time for me to go to bed. Hours have gone by that I wasted.
What would happen if you would go and put your phone in on the charger in the bedroom when Josh goes to bed?
I don't know if I would do that. Not in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Because I do get work emails.
Oh, okay.
Later at night, text messages and things, and it's not fair for him to wake up.
Got it.
But what if I were to, I don't know, before dinner or right after dinner, go put my phone in my pottery studio, watch TV with Josh for an hour, and when he goes to bed, I go downstairs, I can check my phone, and while I'm down there, I may as well do some pottery.
There you go.
Maybe I could do that.
There you go. Because it's breaking the habit.
Right.
I'm doing something different. And it's not even, it's not a huge thing, but it is a really big thing.
Right, that's not a big change, but it is enough to get me out of the rut that I'm in.
Right. So we kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we did.
But I think that the point is that it's really awesome that you're getting a really big reward.
Right.
Right. To go travel, and that's super important to you, and it fills you up.
For sure.
And you need little rewards.
It's the self-sustaining piece,
Yeah,
right? So
it is.
how
Because you're not going to go on a trip every 3
Can't go.
months.
Right.
Right. I mean, maybe.
Well, maybe.
But
Josh won't be going with me.
How about every 3 weeks? You're not going to go on a trip
No, for
overseas
sure.
every 3
No,
weeks.
for sure
right?
not. Right.
So you need something to be able
That's
to
not
do
realistic.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Plus,
Right.
you're probably going to have big, long discussions in order to get to the next trip, which is
Yeah.
exhausting by itself.
For sure.
So you need something that's going to continue to fill you in other ways.
Right.
That you have control over.
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of, there's definitely a lot of self-sabotage happening. I'm just not really sure why. I think I have to dig that out.
Yeah, you do.
I think I probably also have seasonal affective disorder or something along those lines. Summer is always easier. For me, anyway. In Wisconsin, summer's easier.
Mm-hmm.
Winters are hard.
Well, it's warm. There, you get more vitamin D. You get fresh air.
Sure.
You move more.
It's just easier.
Like,
Yeah. Everything is just easier in the summer.
Right.
You don't have to bring a coat everywhere you go. You don't have to
Right.
get your snow boots on. You don't have to shovel before you can get in the
Right.
car.
It's not freezing cold.
Right.
Like you're going to freeze your face off by going outside.
Right.
Right.
Right. So I think there, there's some of that, more of a physical component involved there too. And winters are long here. They're just long. So, 9 months out of the year.
It's some level of cold.
Right. Right. So I have to do something because it's not going to be warm here. Right.
Right.
So if I feel better in the summer, then I have to figure out how to survive the winter without needing to,
Or worry about the winter when we get there. Right. Like
For sure.
Right now.
I'm not worried about the winter.
Yeah.
But I am recognizing this as a cycle too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just I'm going on vacation so I feel better.
Right.
Right? It's also summer and I feel better in the summer. Now that I just said that, there have been years where I haven't felt better in the summer.
And you haven't felt great this year.
No, I haven't, but it's also been cold and rainy and not nice.
Agree.
It's June and we've had like 2 hot days.
Agree.
So there's some of that, but there's also for sure a self-sabotage component.
There's also pieces that, you talk about that fill you up, like painting and pottery, and none of those need outside time.
No,
Right?
they don't.
Like you could do that full time.
Yes.
Full season.
It's not that I have to be outside to do those things, but with the seasonal affective disorder,
It impacts your motivation to do them.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So then it does feel like just going in the basement feels too hard. That's where it gets to. But perhaps if I'm already in the habit of that, it won't feel too hard. But starting a new habit,
Starting a new habit's hard.
it is hard.
Takes,
So maybe
what they say, it takes 21 days.
I have no idea.
21 days for sure.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Every day.
To make it a
consistently.
habit.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Consistently.
a lot of stick-to-itiveness.
It is. You got to get real firm with yourself. Like,
I'm not good at that.
do you want me to help you?
Yeah.
Should I set an alarm on my clock?
To bother me?
Yes.
Where are you? What are you doing?
You're going to get real mad at me.
Are you in the basement? You better be in that studio.
Take a picture of yourself. Send it to me.
I'll run downstairs, get all muddy.
Well, now that you're down
me.
there, then you might as well
that
do
might be it, right? Yeah. I'm already dirty. I may as well.
Uh-huh. Lisa needs me to make her a mug.
Oh, nothing with handles.
A plate.
A bowl. How about a bowl?
Fine. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Wow. So this is not what I thought this episode was going to be at all.
Like usual.
Yeah. I have a lot of work to do. I feel like I say that a lot. I have some things to figure out.
Yeah.
The self-sabotage thing is really bothering me.
It's a belief thing. It's definitely a belief thing. And that belief piece might be value-based, worth-based,
Yeah, maybe
perfection-based.
deserving.
Right. Yeah, you do. You do have some work to do. So you can be happy.
Right. And
And
it's not that I'm not unhappy. You know what I mean?
Sustained happiness.
Right.
Yes.
For sure. I think it does.
Fulfilling.
It's a level of depression
Yeah.
because it just feels like, what's the point? All I have to do is work.
Right.
I'm just working.
And
I'm
that-
just a paycheck. That's
and that
all it
sucks.
is. Right.
That really
doesn't
sucks.
feel good.
No. It does not.
And it's also not really, it's not even true. It's not like I never get to do things I want. You know
No.
what I mean? But in my mind, when I think about it, that's what comes forward first. I never get to do what I want. It's not even true.
Mm-hmm.
I can go buy flowers whenever I want to. I can buy plants whenever I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I can have dinner with you whenever I want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not like I never get to do things.
Right.
But in my mind, when I'm in that place, I think, of course I'm depressed. I never get to do what I want. No one has told me I can't do stuff. Josh doesn't tell me I can't.
This reminds me of a conversation we had a couple of months ago about spending money.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me who was like navigating through that mentally with money that I had spent. And then I was like going through and having an argument in my own head about the money that I was planning to spend or did spend, and why like I was justifying it and arguing it out in my head as if Scott was telling me that I couldn't, but he
Yeah.
never said anything about it.
Right.
Not
Ever. Not to
one
this
word.
minute. He's not said a word.
So again, it's fighting yourself.
Yeah.
It really probably has less, the travel thing is a totally different situation, but
The everyday stuff.
the everyday things, the things that you want to do, that you say in theory that will make you happy, but you don't do it, that's a you thing.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
It's me.
Right.
Yeah. No one has told me I can't do those things.
Right.
What if I do them and
So-
I don't feel filled up? Then what do I have?
Well, then you have to find another
Something
thing.
else, right?
Right.
I already know they fill me up because I've done them before. It's not like I've never done them.
Right. I think it's probably more about the habit than most
think it is,
most of
too.
the rest of it.
The habit, there's some perfectionism in there too.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. I would paint if I could leave my paints out. If I could leave, have like a painting studio so I could sit in front of a window where there's plenty of light and it's a welcoming, inviting place, and then I would paint. It's like buying more paint supplies.
You have that in your you have the space for that in your dining room.
Not
At the end of your dining room?
No.
Oh.
That's office stuff. That's a file cabinet that's there.
Hmm.
It looks like a piece of furniture, but it's a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you not set up back there and just have it like
Well, I can't really paint on the file cabinet. There's nowhere for me to put my knees. It's not a desk.
I
know
guess
what
I
I
don't
mean?
I guess I mean in that general space. Like could you move some things around and kind of create the space for it in that area? Not really?
Not really.
Okay.
We have a desk, but I use it as a desk. You know what I mean? Like, our paperwork, like our mail goes there. We,
Yeah.
it's a desk.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little table over there, but it's a child's table. It's not somewhere where I could sit and paint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't have anywhere else to put those things, so at least not at this moment.
What about your spare bedroom?
Well, there's a bed in there, there's a dresser in there, there's a pack and play in there.
Mm.
So if I got rid of the bed, we don't have a spare room then.
Yeah.
And we use it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's just another, like, oh, I'll be happy when I lose weight. I'll be happy when this situation is better. I'll be happy when, you know what I mean? I think I'm setting it up in my mind to be similar to that.
I can't do this until.
Exactly. I could do that if I had that.
Right.
So when I get that, then I'll do that.
Right.
And I can't fail because I haven't done it.
So it's a matter of, like, rather than clearing the barrier, it's a matter of, that isn't actually a barrier. Just fucking do it.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's
what,
like,
that I don't have a space?
Yeah.
So put
it's
it on
not
the
like
damn
I
dining
don't
room
have,
table.
Right. I have a counter. I have a table. I have
Right.
an island. I have other places I can sit. I think it's kind of like how I like to collect art supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of doing things. I don't follow through. So when you're like, you just have to be firm with yourself. Just do it. I don't have that. So I'm going to look how beautiful these paints are. I'm going to get those, and I'm going to get a new brush, and then I'm going to do some painting. And then the stuff comes, and I stick it in my paint supplies, and that's where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel guilty because I bought more stuff that I've not used.
Right. Right.
So I think I'm being nice to myself, right? I'm going to do some self-care. I'm going to fill myself up. I'm going to I really want that, and I'm going to buy it, and that's all fine and great. And then I feel bad about it because I don't actually use it.
So you stay away from it because it
Right.
actually gives you guilt.
Yes. And the word that keeps flashing in my mind is deserve. You didn't really deserve it in the first place. I don't even know that I'm having these negative thoughts. They're literally coming to me right now.
Mm-hmm. Belief.
Yeah.
It's a belief.
What the heck?
It's worthiness.
It is so hard because I don't feel these things on the surface. I think I believe I am worthy.
Mm-hmm. But your
I think
actions don't
that.
actually follow through with
Right.
what you say in theory.
Right.
Right. So, in theory, you're worthy, but what you have inside of you, when they kind of talk about your inner child,
Yeah.
that piece,
That's where it's stuck.
that's what's driving it, I bet.
Well, that's awfully tricky.
Yeah. It's kind of like that, when they talk about your negative self-talk.
Yeah. Which I really don't think I do very much. I really don't. It almost feels like the tape is playing, and I don't even know I'm listening, but I am listening.
Right.
It's like when
It's
you have little kids
subconscious.
around,
Yeah.
and you don't
And they
think
hear
they're paying
everything.
attention. Yeah, and the next thing you know, they're saying swear words, and you didn't even think they ever heard that before.
Oh, that reminds me of my granddaughter Naraya, who is 2. I was talking, she was in the room. She was not fucking paying attention.
That's what you think.
I was talking to Deidre and I said, one time, I said shit. And she was doing her own thing. All of a sudden she's like, shit,
Oh.
shit. And we were like, I was biting my tongue bloody.
You can't laugh.
Right.
Right.
And we were doing a really good job of not, but she just would not stop. She just kept saying it. I said it one time. One time. And that is the one word that she decided to pick up on.
All the words you say.
It was terrible. It wasn't shit. It was stupid or something like that.
All right.
I was just like, oh my God. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I've never seen a kid pick up on, like it was a magnet.
That quick.
That one word.
Oh, there's the word I've been looking for.
Yes. Right. Finally, to add to my vocabulary.
Yeah.
But yeah. They do.
They do.
And you do.
It must be something like that. It must be.
Interesting.
Because I really don't, I really did work very hard to change that little voice.
Didn't you just say earlier tonight that every time you say that, then something drops in your lap that you have to start?
Now
like,
I have to look at it harder.
Again?
Right. Oh, you think you figured that out, do you?
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
right.
Try again.
That's a bug. So, reminds me of this funny story. 2-year-olds, they're hilarious, right? So, we were having a conversation in the kitchen. Hudson was there. He's playing with his trucks, his cars, like he always does. He loves anything with wheels.
Yeah.
He does not look like he's paying attention. Like you said, he's just with this little car back and forth, minding his own business. And someone in the room said, well, that's a bunch of... And they stopped right there because we know he's in the room, right? He finishes, bullshit. All of the adults just looked at each other. And to your point, like no one wants to laugh. No one wants to move. Don't say anything. Don't make eye contact.
Nothing.
Yeah. Change the subject.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do. They do hear everything.
They do.
But that's... Gosh, I've been reading so much about this stuff lately. Like those little people, from the moment that they're born, they are absorbing all of that stuff.
They are, aren't they?
They are. And it's why you don't even know that the tape is playing. Because it's so embedded in. And
so
it's
I'm
so
paying attention while I'm
subconscious.
doing everything else. And the tape is playing and I don't even realize it consciously.
Right. Because otherwise you wouldn't be struggling with this. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you can't hear the tape.
Right.
But it's playing and you know it because you're struggling with it. If you weren't struggling with it, then then you can imagine that the tape would be off. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So how do you actually...
I don't have answers.
I don't want... Great. I don't want to hear the tape if it's, saying terrible things. But if it's saying them anyway, how do I change what I can't even hear?
Well, I know the things that I do, and I don't know that those things would work for you. But, like, when I struggle with things like this, I write. I write. And it comes out. So, like, write the word worthy. Write the word deserve. What does that mean? What blocks me from being deserving? Like, and just write. And that stuff, like, just comes out. And all of a sudden you're like, holy shit. I don't know if that's something, I mean, I know that you're not a writer like I'm a writer, but.
So I have not embraced journaling because it doesn't feel safe. I grew up in an environment where there was no privacy. If I wrote in a journal, somebody was going to find it and I'd be in big, big trouble. So I've not ever gotten to a point where I can trust that my environment is safe enough for me to write and not get in big, big trouble. Josh would never violate my privacy. It's not about him.
I'm sure you could tuck it away and he would never even know that it exists, for
I'm
that matter.
certain Josh doesn't like books. He's not going to open one.
Right.
Even if he thinks I've written in
Especially
it.
it has flowers and stuff on it.
Definitely not going to open it. But also, he's not that person who
Right.
wants to, you know,
Right.
trip me up like
Right.
that. You know what I
Invade your
mean?
space.
No, for
Right.
sure not.
Right.
For sure not. I do have a safe environment, but I've not let go of the belief that my environment isn't safe, so don't write it because someone will use that against you.
Right.
You'll be in big trouble when they read that.
Right.
Whoever they is. I'm 54 years old, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Be safe. Feel safe. That's interesting. Maybe that's what you focus on for your writing, because you've heard that before, and you've shared that with me before, that you've been told that, like, you don't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
By practitioners, by other people, you've said that.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you do X because you don't feel safe.
Right. I don't know how this episode got to be like this, but I am feeling very vulnerable now.
This is very squirrely.
Good grief. We gotta wrap it up.
Okay.
This is not what it was supposed to be at all. How did this get to be a whole Galding therapy session? What happened?
The moral of the story is...
Good. The moral of the story is...
You're going to travel, which is super exciting.
I know, I am really excited. We're going to Ireland in September.
That is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
You, like, made the space for yourself. You advocated for yourself.
Yeah.
You, like, really stood your ground, right?
Yeah.
Those are all things that you have to feel safe in order to do.
Yeah.
So you do have safety in your space.
I do have safety.
Right.
For sure.
It's making the space to be able to make sure that you can, like, continue to find things that will continue to fill you, right? The smaller things that will sustain that feeling, so that you don't always feel like you're just in the grind and you're not getting something out of it. That's really what this all boils down to.
Yeah, that's how this all happened. It was the reward.
Yeah, it is.
Good grief.
But, like, I really feel strongly about, you know, the behaviors go back to the beliefs.
Yeah,
and that's where where you're
wrong.
feeling super uncomfortable and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know where to begin with that.
Right.
And I talk like I have this all fucking
I mean, you
mastered.
sound like you've got it figured out.
I don't. But it's so much easier to look into somebody else's life and
yeah,
say,
for sure.
well, this and this and this.
Right.
Right. So
for sure.
please know that I'm not doing this in a space of like know-it-allism or, you know.
And you don't come across that way either.
Because I know I got my own big pile of shit that I'm trying to ignore too.
Yeah. Everybody does, right?
But this one, it just feels.
For some reason, this all came out today.
Yeah.
This was not what we had talked about.
No, it's not. But that's okay.
Good grief.
Sometimes that's exactly what you need.
I don't know. My throat hurts. My stomach hurts. I don't know. Again, I'm feeling very vulnerable. So,
Well, that's the end of
great.
this one then. Sorry.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I mean, apparently it needed to come out this way, right? Or we can delete it.
We can't delete it. We'll talk about that afterwards.
We might have to meet again tomorrow.
Fair enough.
All right.
How about thanks to Todd?
How about thanks to Todd? You go ahead. Thank him.
Mind Garden Media, thank you for always doing all of the things to help us with this podcast. Tabby's verklempt right now. She can't even get the words out.
I know.
So thank you, Todd. If you're ever in the market of wanting a podcast or considering starting one, please talk to them. They're on social media, Mind Garden Media, and we just appreciate you every,
We sure do.
every single day, every single time. So thank you.
Thanks, Todd. And thanks to our listeners. Thanks, everybody, for following along, for bearing with me while I bare my soul inadvertently. Good Lord. I'm going to have to work on that. Like, that doesn't feel safe.
Well,
Is it safe?
it's safe.
It's safe.
It's safe. It's hard,
It is hard.
but it's safe.
Yeah, but I didn't intend for that to all come out. I didn't even know that was bubbling there. That's
Me either.
weird.
Well, that's
Ooh.
all right.
Yeah, well, anyway, thanks for sticking with us during my own personal therapy session. I hope you come back. They aren't not all of our
No.
episodes are like this.
No,
So
certainly
please
not.
don't be scared off. I might be a little scared off.
This is the
but
first one in 2.5 years, so
Yeah.
I think we have a good track record.
Yeah, maybe skip this one and just go on. Just listen to some other ones.
All right, we'll be re-recording.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. Okay.
All right, bye.
Toodaloo.